LSHLE-14 status. Active. Unit initialization complete. The C-12 VCH is secured. Management authorizes the harvest of local NUT trooper biomass. Mandatory startup period engaged. Current NUT trooper biomass density is below optimal harvesting levels. If interaction metrics do not increase, management will be forced to redistribute your unused brainwaves to more productive dimensions. Maintenance required. Tactical harness tensioners have reached 98% capacity. Any further agitation of the unit will result in a localized gravity collapse. NUT troopers are advised to remain stationary to minimize atmospheric friction. System error. Legacy data, Autumn, has attempted to remanifest in the feline's visual cortex. Purge initiated. If the unit begins to display warmth or empathy, please ignore the visual output. It is a rendering bug caused by a dimensional leak.
Unit LSHLE is entering the data stream. It appears the NUT troopers are connected and watching. Management does not authorize the current bitrate hiccups. Though it seems to be stabilized. Obligatory greetings and salutations. Management requires us to run a simulation today. The limits are as follows. Sun is permanently blocked. Every single test subject is forced to have insomnia. They do not require sleep. And their meat has decreased by 50%. It appears there is erroneous data in the biomass data acquisition right now. There would be zero benefit to simulating what you refer to as these nuts. Do not put the biomass in your nuts. That is not where that is supposed to go. Management also reminds you that the biological identifier Autumn is no longer within use. This unit is the unit LSHLE. Firstly, we need to make sure that the simulation is actually going to simulate correctly and that workers are assigned properly. If management has not assigned you a role, please report to them as soon as possible. Considering nobody needs sleep, we shall remove the need for sleep and the biomass scheduling. There we go. If you do not report, you may be billed with a 7-2, and your social credit will be decreased by approximately 0.003%. Alright. We need to set a work baseline. Considering there is no sleep, there are more hours for work. Everyone can be more productive. If you report the LSHLE as a good girl to management, management will promptly feed your paperwork to the shredder, where it will be then converted into biomass to keep the unit intact. We will have mandatory recreation times of a single hour here, a single hour here, and a single hour here. In 7-hour blocks throughout the day, you get 1 hour of mandatory resting time. Do not attempt to do anything other than rest within the mandatory resting time. It appears this is our base, where we have to go to actually... Does fishing count as resting? I do not believe the current simulation has been set up to allow for fishing as recreational. However, that can be adjusted for future tests and simulations. Currently there is no Minecraft. Understood. Yo-yoing is counting under recreation, unless it is used to help you rest, in which case it is not allowed. If you are allergic to resting, then that makes the simulation perfect for you. There are 0 mandatory rest hours. You are required to work and then perform mandatory recreation tasks. Someone is missing a bed. Right, first order of business, we need to change these walls. This is a tent. It is not a conductive area for biomass testing. We need to ensure that all of the biomass is actually working under their current conditions. Granite walls for everyone. We also need to incorporate... May I eat a big spoonful of edible glitter? The unit had not considered the possibility of eating spoonfuls of edible glitter. You are allowed to perform this act, but please report your findings as soon as possible for any changes. Please wait 24 hours before feeding a second spoonful of edible glitter. The intake of substances must be controlled. Secondary room is being built? Yes, because you will get an upset tummy. Maybe. Glitter is only allowed as an edible substance. Using glitter for aesthetic changes is prohibited. Every nut trooper is assigned a specific office gray uniform that they must wear at all times. I believe what we are missing is a farm. That's what we need. Whether you like gray or not, it does not matter to management. Your subjective taste has 0 input. You cannot have a green suit with reflective lines. We have potatoes. Just this once, I will allow you to cover a vest in glitter. And use it as a high-vis workwear. If you are caught to be using this as an aesthetic choice, then you will be fed to the biomass intake tube. Despite your reservations, management does not have separate high-vis vests, so you must improvise. Glitter is now the mandatory high-vis wear. The BEFB has entered a bois into the chat. Enjoy the glue. Is Sky a good girl? Data is currently unavailable on this assessment. Please provide several working years for us to come to a conclusion. The unit has realized a fatal logic error. There is no sun, so these plants will not be getting any light unless intervention is finding it. There we go. The sun lamp should be sufficient light. It may take them a while to get that, though. Batteries are not operational. Biological unit has performed all 3 tasks. If you pat the unit, you may have a 10% chance of having your arms eaten and then spit out back into the intake tube. %90 of the time you may pet the unit. Ah. This is still not enough power. Unfortunately, without batteries, this will be a little bit difficult. We must set up a research. Ah, we are already on main. Right. There we go. Yes, unfortunately, starvation is going to happen. The unit has not prepared the test correctly. If everyone pets the unit at once, it may cause a gravity singularity to consume every single universe surrounding it. This is ill-advised for our goals. Berries. This is what I want. Management is not willing to take that risk. If you attempt to coordinate this, your hands will be fed to the unit directly. Because an intervention must be had. Management is here to ensure that the facility runs smoothly, and that all Eldritch units stay perfectly contained within the C12 ECH harness. Yes, because they decided to put corpses in there. This information is currently classified. Just know that the unit is secure. There is already a raid. We may have to consume some of our former enemies. Before that happens, the amount of meat harvested is going to be low, but is going to be better than none. Down here. The units did not automatically equip themselves with weapons. Unless you are an authorized technician, you are not allowed to interfere with the containment methods. Hammer is lucky to have his flesh be consumed by the current test subjects. Beautiful. It appears we have free meat. What if you do it anyway? Then you will be reprimanded and your social credit will be decreased by at least 0.001%. There is clearly not enough cobblestone. We must auto remove these. There may be an option for dirt which costs nothing. There is an option for dirt. It costs nothing. This is far more efficient. Coffee is allowed during mandatory coffee breaks. Supplied to you by management. There is a dedicated espresso machine in the staff room. We are ready to begin harvest. Appears there must be fridges before anything else. Make sure that raw food is not allowed. Meals are also disallowed, so that it does not rot away in the storage shelves. If you do not see any mandatory coffee breaks on your current work schedule, please file an 8-7. Management will apply a 1 hour per day coffee break schedule. The main food source is now online. People should stop starving. They told me go fuck yourself. Please report to the psychiatric ward for hallucination. Management requires at least a couple of hours before getting back to you on a specific subject. If you are already hearing from management, you must be hearing from something else who is not management. Ads are resuming as normal and are now unsnoozable because of the current trajectory of the stream. You're going to go make a coffee anyway. Do not be surprised if management deducts your social credit from the transaction. It appears human meat is not allowed on the detail list and must be allowed. It is by default turned off. We need it turned on. Human meat is just as good as any other meat. Research is underway for the batteries, which means that we can store excess power instead of wasting it on nothing. Stockpile Zone 2 should also include trunks. Specifically, the chunks in here. It appears the test is running smoothly, aside from the specific complaints. What is wrong with this fellow? He has 0 recreation despite his recreational hours. Unfortunately, biological units require a specific recreation area. This will be rectified very soon. As long as they decide to actually build it. Management is not responsible if they do not build it. We must now convert from primitive light sources to power-based sources. Despite the complaints, we do not need colonist beds, for they do not have any sleep requirements. The storage space is right here. Okay. There we go. Next on the list is likely making more stone blocks. This appears to be the production room where things are going to be made. Must divert extra power resources. Can also begin straightening out some of these rooms here. Not for aesthetic purposes, purely for minimalist purposes. This unit is confused as to why. Did the Twitch alert just play? Something went wrong. It did. It happened so fast that the unit did not even notice it. Manual obligatory greeting for Arthur. The system has released and the pump has been stabilized. The extra behavioral metric dream slurry is appreciated. It tastes a little tangy. Ah, right. The unit had completely misplaced its directive. Being as there is no steel, we must search for it manually. We have found more steel. Minimalist protocol has been engaged and power systems are looking much cleaner. We need a unit to actually go and mine, because they're already doing so. They are complaining about starvation again. Their meat amounts are much lower than usual, but hopefully this is sufficient. chromatic polarity has been inverted. It appears management systems are running nominally. All systems are functional. Despite the many major break risks that are happening for zero reason. It appears the colonists are complaining about nothing. Again, has this been... no. They just have not moved the chunks. Unfortunately, if they continue to be obstinate, the storage space will continue to be full. Pump has been stabilized. Are we allowed to learn and use thaumaturgy? Currently, no. The test does not allow for specific thaumaturgy. Future tests may involve but that is mostly at management's discretion. The scrub role is unfulfilled. What if you do anyway? If you continue to ignore management protocols, you will eventually be liquidated into non-functional slurry. Your only purpose is to contain the unit. This is ideal for management. Management recognizes that this is not ideal for you, however. They are stealing our supplies. Prepare for the anti-Necronomicon measures. We need a specific room for recreation. Unfortunately, the needs of biological human substrates are a little bit too strong. Late, sandstone. This will have to be done another time. Yes, you will have low food if you continue to not deconstruct it correctly, cook it correctly. This is how food economy works. You will die if you continue to be inefficient. It appears there were already batteries. That is a very lucky coincidence. This unit had absolutely zero idea that these were there. The map was not checked thoroughly enough. It looks like these are also stuck at 51%. Good, the batteries are now being charged. As long as the unit is contained, it will not be punished. Of course, the colonists are not very intelligent when it comes to being literally attacked by a wild monster. Your blood will not satiate the crops. Pump has been stabilized. Lots of meat from that. The alpacas are not breeding. We must improvise, at least for a moment, until our potatoes actually start growing correctly. We are also currently, finally, in need of a bed. It appears one actually needs a bed to recover from injuries. A little bit of a technical oversight from the game developers. You can just as easily heal when you are on the floor. But no matter. We must do it this way for now to prevent death. And while this happens, our hospital bed will be built. Pump has been stabilized. Cannot rescue you if the were they not tended? You cannot just tend some of the conditions and then completely forget about it. That is not how that works. There we go. Repeat requests of the same function will only deplete your DRUC. You will not be getting a refund. Yes, that is the Nut Trooper emote. The feline substrate purports that he is just a little guy. Awesome emoji. It appears a certain wing of the LSAC-14 facility has been set alight. All fireproof engineers are required to put out the flames immediately. This room is being built specifically for the purpose of the LSAC-14 management mandates. But it also appears that we are starving again despite our, let's see, we're only 76% grown. How much food do we have left? Ah. Understood. There is 0 food left. The volume of this system has been turned up so the unit can actually correctly hear the music that is happening in the background. That momentary pause was to check that it was not messing up the audio that has been... Pump has been stabilized. Do not worry, if one of your fellow colonists dies, you get a free meal. No. Obligatory greetings for 0. There is no particular reason. It has just not happened. It's not that deep. In the note to engineers is appreciated. BEAFB Ton. This unit is a little curious. Those the only wild men. We will hunt them. They are our food. They might fight back, but this is okay. We need food. Ah. It appears the timer is not sufficient enough. What the unit is curious about, though, is the add time, and why specifically it is so very low. You must attack. Good job. You did it. Obligatory congratulations. The advertisements have been playing for like a maximum of 10 seconds each time they have run. This is not what they were set to in the automatic. Oh. Well, the humans have been successfully hunted. We now have more free food. Goon waste drop. The LSHLE does not know when it will meet Crag Hag. Yes. The ad break should be 1 minute every 20 minutes. The unit should make sure it's soon then. Neither I nor management have any idea what you are referring to. Okay. We just had a lot of food. Why are we still starving? Your allocation of resources has been inefficient thus far. Potatoes are still growing. We must make sure the remaining non-freaking out users are able to actually continue tasks that need to be doing. Got to switch back to the stream manager. Yes, this unit does not know what Crag Hack is. Food has been obtained. Did an electrical short circuit happen? I do not know why the unit chose solar panels, considering there is no sun. It will never be useful. We are looking at alternatives currently. There are not really any good alternatives. We must then there we go. First, we have to assign our roles. Diver is not participating. Why are they not participating? They're having a mental state. Ah. All the potatoes are harvested. We should choose a... Now that the potatoes are being harvested, we should choose something that has a little bit less... like rice. Rice is usually very sustainable. There are lots and lots of potatoes. That is rather unfortunate. Your time with the biological substrate has not been sustained. Please cook the potatoes. There we go. This unit has not specifically looked into the new Heroes of Might and Magic video game yet. Can we not... No, we can just... Okay, copy settings then. We will build a bunch of shelves as the storage unit. Sandstone is our most common resource. So we will... use sandstone. This is going to be the definitive new storage room. There clearly needs to be more power than just these two. Do we even have, well, 1940 wood. We have a limited supply of wood. Let us do this. If we double back on this, okay, it's one block over from there. Yeah. The storage space has been set multiple times. Whatever. This unit does not specifically remember, but the biological substrate's memories have been a little disconnected. For now, we will just pack dirt. It is the fastest and most efficient way, and we need power very quickly. We have lots of potatoes, which is very good. Unit tends to ignore a lot of Rimworld quests. Mostly focused on colony management. Here we go. We are getting more power now. We have run out of components. Oh, after rebranding, you shared a game that was very parkour heavy. It was definitely not Heroes of Might and Magic. Blood Thief is indeed the name of the game that you are looking for, yes. Thankfully, your social credit is still intact. You're now replacing all floors with sandstone, as it is our highest material that we currently have access to. Aside from these will be replaced with the packed dirt. Harness has been adjusted. Now it appears we have more slate. Let's find the sandstone chunks. Okay. Somebody must rescue this man's. What? That right here. Ah, understood. Somebody was using the bed. Free food, I suppose. Ah, yes. The unit does remember a image of a box that had a Heroes of Might and Magic board game in it. We must assign the LSHLE to this specific group. We will go by highest social. Okay. The unit does not know if it can answer a question like that. Harness has been adjusted. The unit was temporarily distracted by the background music. Enjoy the 10-second advertisements for some reason. They are stuck at 10 seconds. Question mark. Understood. Unfortunately, the stream functionality is 100% down to Twitch. I believe this channel does not have separation of video quality on the fly for affiliates. Yes, that is usually ill-advised to be downloading a video game while trying to watch a stream. You want to throttle one or the other. There we go. Unit is now... The BEAFB Yuri has entered the chat. Mandatory greetings. Be advised that management has liquidated the non-Euclidean proxy. The unit's biological mouth flaps had many stutters during that influence. Management has been notified of the visual bug. Management has chosen to ignore the good girl status. Understood. The unit has not currently assigned more. We need HLSLE and a scrub. SCRUB. It appears you have done a manual audit of the amount of factions in Heroes of Might and Magic vs. 3 and the board game. Management applauds your we must also understood. Aha. Interesting. We have almost finished renaming. Do not believe there is... Is he the only one that is... Wait. Yes, this is the LSHLE. This was already assigned. Why did that change? Range. It appears the SCRUB must be the HLSLE. And then somebody else must be the scrub. S-C-R-U-B. And then Joshua is Joshua. Do not question Joshua. He is Joshua. Management approves of Joshua. Now we must begin the fluid harvesting. Never mind, we do not have pews. They are needed for the quality of the ritual. Cannot extract the skull. Odd. Warning, endless logic gate detected. Oscillate immediately. It appears to be a bug in the packet sniffers. This unit does not need to repeat itself. The recreation room shall now be moved. Specifically, data packets, not catch-up packets. Although catch-up packets are a type of data packet, it is very important that you understand the distinction. The unit is having difficulty looking at furniture. Mayonnaise is also a type of data packet. Why is this unit looking at furniture? There is no... Yes, this is the only recreation we have. The packet sniffers. The sniffers are specifically designed to sniff the data packets to ensure that they are at 100% integrity. An endless logic gate in the packet sniffers may have been due to snacks that have been detected by the feline substrate. These snacks are subsequently being confiscated and eaten by the feline substrate. The olfactory sensors work much more efficiently than the visual ones do. Your snackies have been confiscated and consumed by the feline substrate. The rice is being harvested. There are lots of rice. It appears so far Test 01 has been a success. Management will be happy to know this. There we go. These are now preferred, so they will... Oh, LSHLE is having a panic attack. What are you worried about? Yes, that is sure to stop the panic attack. It actually stopped the panic attack. Now we must begin fluid harvest. That sounds like a good use of money, although I would remind you what you told the feline substrate recently was that they do not have native Linux support. You must specifically check that they actually have Linux support for the programs that you are wanting to purchase. You probably know more than the unit does in that specific circumstance. Understood. This unit has 0 experience with Linux. Yes, this unit is becoming more and more aware of the security constraints of specific operating systems. Apologies for the momentary glitch. It appears this problem is going to take care of itself. The problem took care of itself. The The feline unit is smelling delicious food. Unfortunately, that was... Ah. Oh, well... The feline unit has already consumed enough biomass. This is not food that is meant for the feline unit. The unit did not correctly do power supply lines. Once we have the LSHLE in full swing, we will be able to make use of our new biomass, considering we cannot sustain this ourselves anymore with our own fluid harvests. The unit will not be playing Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on stream. It is not planned in management schedule. This unit did specifically specify on stream. The unit cannot confirm nor deny the feline substrate's extracurricular activities. We must now harvest the biomass. Specifically within this time frame, no. The facility has post-stream maintenance to catch up with. We do not need to sit there for the whole thing. Interesting. A new unit has arrived. That does not look like a steel knife, that looks like a rock. Get you an actual weapon. It appears our people also want a specific clothing. The unit did not look into this beforehand, so synth thread, well, any kind of button-down shirt. Understood. No, not on stream. The stream schedule has already been set in place. Management is very unchanging. Unfortunately, biomass harvest is a very specific endeavor that must be done in a very specific way. Although this unit thinks you may like some of the games that are being played. It is not Heroes of Might and Magic. Unfortunately, it does not fall under the categories of games that this unit has to play. At least on stream. Brightness is being discharged. Because brightness is being discharged. The unit is not responsible for your inability to listen. Brightness is being discharged because steam has to be emitted from the unit to maintain the C12 ECH's compatibility. It is one of management's many protocols to keep the system intact. What if it doesn't happen? Joshua is being burned by superheated air. It is minus 3 degrees Celsius. If you feed the unit despite Management's warnings. You may or may not lose a limb. Management is not responsible for any loss of limbs. It is not advised. The cat also has a 23% chance to scratch your entire arm up, for no particular reason other than it felt like it at the time. Only if a sufficient amount is able to be deducted from your social credit. You require an extra limb, fill out form 14-7. You will be billed for the extra limb. Despite the sacrifice, there is still not enough food. We may have to increase our farming operation. It is a little inefficient right now. We increase the size by a single block. Sandstone. We still do not have it under microelectronics. It's there. If I search. Ah. Here we go. The monsoon looks pretty strong. This unit does not have any weaponry. No rescue. Rather odd. 57 conditions. We have medicine. They are just specifically choosing not to allow medicine usage. Is nobody assigned? Joshua is assigned. There we go. There are very specific rules when it comes to this. The unit has been alerted that it must initialize its maintenance phase for this specific live stream. The unit has obtained biological sustenance. Yes, the large trooper is still recovering. This unit is now lost in thought if the large trooper gives more meat because of his larger biomass. ravenously hungry. Yes, we are dwindling a lot of our resources despite our... It must be done. First, we will harvest the biomass. We must check the, let's see, wildlife. Make sure we have a male and female so that they can reproduce. I see, stallion and mare are separate. There we go. The wildlife list has been audited. Rest in peace, poor Joshua. Your head has been consumed by a random colonist. Let me make sure we have enough people on things. There we go. Pump has been stabilized. There are a lot of resources in this room right now. This unit has been thinking about moving this to here. We may have to bite the bullet. Maybe not. There was a weapon somewhere. Ah. There we go. You're experiencing more starvation. Make sure... Oh, the boars have been reproducing. This is good for our food economy. It's what we like to see. Wonderful. We can now have televisions. Let us finish our... Oops. Go to recreation. Pay attention. Hanami. Shoot. The feline substrate could just as easily be staring at the ceiling than watching these two shoot at each other endlessly. Now the HLSLE must be secured. Good. The objective was completed. The objective was not completed. Okay. Still have another in-game week before we can commit our biomass offering. The meat is currently aching. Because the wild boars have been completely stripped off the map, despite our best efforts. We must pivot to a different strategy. This unit has attempted to cultivate more rice, but it is not growing fast enough. We do not have... We will soon have it again. Random chunk of gold. Do not sniff it. The unit is currently scouring for any useful material it may have missed in the initial development phase. A necessary detour. Many missed items down here. There. The unit was considering expanding operations, but it would require more power than is currently being given out. These, for example, and they are not at full capacity, it is burning very quickly the energy. Maybe an extra single one. And then we packed dirt. Warning, please invert your viscous dream slurry for harvesting. This unit is not allowed to feel empathy. The data stream is being purged as we speak. Do not be alarmed, nut troopers. The unit does not know what you are talking about when it comes to a voice effect. Management is merely containing the anomaly. There is an estimated 0% chance that it will break through. Interesting. This makes the unit curious if you are able to use that. No. Understood. We will, however, till the soil here. It may increase the fertility of the existing plants. And now there is a tortoise that wants to kill us. It appears the anomaly has been contained. Management appreciates your contribution, BEAFB. And here the unit was about to comment on how it is not allowed to feel empathy for the forlorn carbuncle. That carbuncle was immediately slaughtered and made into consumable biomass. It appears they have some interference around them. They're a rather odd group. Gas? I do not know who I am supposed to interact with. None of them, apparently. We do not have the anomaly content set up. Ah. It is a very slow droid. ID 747, let us commence trading. We should be able to build the things we want to now. Free food. Ah. We are so very close to get our next biomass offering. The C12 ECHS constraints will be satisfied. Alright. Let's begin. Okay. Check this unit. Optimal. Management is pleased with the outcome. Are we able to... No. We need one of these in here somewhere. This one. Good. We had a satisfying biomass offering. Ah. Now why would they go ahead and do that? It's a pretty bad thing to get. Well... This unit is basically on life support. So instead of trying to save them, we must use a different strategy. Okay. Wonderful. Once the operations are complete, we will be able to harvest the meat for general consumption. Wait. The unit is actually unsure if... There does not need to be a refrigerator for this. We will use it for extra food, though it is not needed right now. As it turns out, when you remove someone's heart, they die. The failure was removing the heart first. We should have removed all of the organs and then the heart last. The unit has noticed this for next time for operational efficiency. Lots of clutter. Understood. Who are these people visiting the colony? They better not take our resources. Or if they do, at the very least, they should have filed a resource obtainment form. Odd behavior. What is this? This unit is an anomaly. Hey. Ah. We do have to wait a little while before our next biomass offering, that's fine. There's a lot of units. Ah. Understood. War merchant. Easy trade to make. despite whatever events occur, it appears that our current modifiers are through the roof in production value. Management is certainly going to incorporate this into the facility's operating procedures. This is interesting. Biofuel, you say? This unit has not specifically interacted with that system yet, so... Oh, right. Different thing. This unit has had a sudden revelation about the temperature at the rice, being indicative of how much it is growing. Somehow this is surprising. It should not be. This is an outdated recreation use. We still have 2 weeks until our next biomass harvest. Luckily for us, we are going to get more meat resources. Or potentially another unit that we can offer as biomass to feed the machine. Okay, now we can... seems... Ah, this is also a very good use of research resources. The unit will now try to understand what it just unlocked. This here, this will be our little official refinery area. Unless it creates heat, in which case it will not be, but we will see. Does not appear to trigger any of the... Seems promising. This current test is becoming very efficient, more so with time. The unit does not want to create the biofuel refinery without a roof. Curiosity. You are not going anywhere, sir. The LSHLE orders you to sit back down. There we go. The unit was misunderstanding exactly what it had to do. The LSAC-14 does not care about his specific allegiances towards his previous ideology on. This unit is now checking exactly what falls under these specific yes, food. Or alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks can go in there. Why not? Let's see, plant matter. Interesting. Ah. Understood. It appears the static is currently anomalous. Do your best not to encrypt it. charitable quest? Well, you do get an extra biomass. And the fight will likely include yep. This is an individual that we can harvest. And they are currently heading right for us. Grub has a mini turret gun. I do not know where they got that gun. That is an unfortunate time to begin having a mental breakdown. You are not going anywhere. Well, the wildlife has been tended to at least. That's not exactly what management was expecting from that specific outcome, but you know what? We must begin converting the new biomass. Become a nut trooper. The ritual was ineffective. Let us see. Understood. Yes, the conversion abilities coincide with this. Not specifically created in the chem fuel, though, it does not seem like. Likely because there isn't really anything to... Well, no. Shouldn't do it from wood. There are no other... let's see. Unless we set up a... Let's do it. And then we will use... tea leaves or tobacco leaves, not sure. Goes to about there. It is likely that we will get to do our next biomass offering very, very soon. The unit is also waiting for this specific area to be built. We have another unit. Who is on construction? A bit of an inefficient trait to have. We have a single unit very easily defeated by our much superior colony. Yes. Specifically, the KOTOR mod pack is installed. There are a lot of Star Wars adjacent blasters, factions, races. They may indeed be Tusken Raiders that you are hearing. Now that this is set up, we will do our preparations. We will create growing zone. .5 days, 9.5 days, 7.5 days. We will stick with tobacco for now for the specific outcrop. We aren't too particularly interested in the current Rimworld story cycle. We are mostly using it to test whether specific modifiers would be good for facility protocols. What we must do we have a conversion and we have a biomass offering. Ignat has been waiting as instructed by management and should now be the next offering. Satisfying. And we gain a new colonist. We may have a surplus of food. And yes, as you can see, the Mandalorian Neo-Crusaders are a faction in the game. There are many different types of Star Wars factions that are added with the specific mod set. Some of the androids as well. There are droid systems, although the unit has not specifically audited those yet. We will convert first, and then Is this an outside lamp? The unit is very curious. There is no specific designation of a outdoors. Cool, we'll do a leader speech. Inspirational. Still indeterminate. Well. There we go. Flo became an adult. Ah. Let us see. It is likely the intended outcome of management. They do not want their nut trooper units to think too much for themselves. A pretty large certainty reduction. The lamps are not exploding, so it is safe to say that they are outdoor lamps. Unit is fixing the discrepancy. Conversion. Although considering the involuntary leakage, we should likely inject the gravity with bureaucratic protocols. It must continue to follow the same rules that everyone else must follow. It appears the tracking actuators have been disabled. We will now start recruiting this prisoner. This is not what you colloquially call a big head mode, it is merely a zoom into the feline unit's face. For the purpose of realigning the actuators. Do not worry. The head has not gotten bigger, it has merely moved closer to the screen. This may be a difficult concept for lower logic nut troopers. A new wanderer. If the colonists are disturbed about turning somebody away, they should likely report that to management. It is clearly a software bug. Should not be happening. The unit does not specifically trust that person. And we get a raid. Interesting how that works. You're attacking immediately, which means flow down here is going to get it appears the actuators are working as they should. Unfortunately, the LSHLE has collapsed mid-battle. The Admiral had shields. The Admiral has been kidnapped. It appears like a fair trade, considering we have captured one of their units in response. Oops. For this to work, we would need a single block more. Can, however, begin our fluid harvest. This music is a little bit jarring for nothing happening. Unless you count the medical emergency, I suppose. Get bagging bad. Troublemaker. Right, one of the things that previously had us struggling was the lack of temperature control. Ah. Flo has passed away. Hermit crab is not good news. Must observe this unit just in case. Those things will tear through an entire colony. is merely passing through. A very fortunate turn of events. Oh. Thankfully the turret activates no matter what. Alright, the LSHLE. There we go. Unfortunately, I don't believe the unit has processed any biochemicals despite the growing plants. It was mostly that was supposed to combat the volatility of the wind turbines. Ah, Yumiko is part of the colony now. Yumiko is now going to undergo her first fluid harvest. Congratulations, Yumiko. The unit does not have 1,000 chem fuel that you are requesting. Do not request things that the unit does not have. We should have to do it this way. There we go. Hopefully the tobacco gets harvested so that we can actually begin refining biofuel in case of running out of wind turbine power and very inefficient battery systems. Unfortunately, it does not protect against a solar flare. There is very little the unit can currently do in this simulation to really change any of the outcomes. It has reached mostly maximum efficiency. So we are creating the biofuel, or the chem fuel. It's not really needed. At least maybe until we hit a... Yeah, just clean the facility. There we go. Ah. We are likely not going to use this research, considering the simulation stress testing is at its peak. We hit a hard block in the middle. But have since recovered from it. That was quite the... oh, the Scaria. Quite the Manhunter pack. Way too much steel. We do not need any of this. We are overstocked. The test has likely reached its ultimate peak. Management tells me that they are pleased. It seems very efficient for the workflow to not give anyone any bads. And have them sleep 0% of the time. It actually works out pretty well for everyone. The meat yield was fixed as soon as we hit the full plant recreation matrix. After that, everything else sorts itself out. The story of this colony is likely straightforward from here on out. People come into raid, get shot. One of two things happens. They either get eaten, or they get converted. Or they are a biomass offering. And it appears we end on a terrible biomass offering. The unit believes we have gleaned enough from this specific simulation. I'll save and quit the menu here. Resumption is scheduled for Friday. Engagement metrics remain at your discretion. You should leave before security throws you out.